You're listening to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of ABK Media Group, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County every day at 9 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Gwinnett. Hello, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land. How are you this morning? And everybody around the world listening to the show. So happy to be here with you this morning. Today is Thursday, so you know I got a guest at the table today. My guest is Ms. Andrea Stephenson. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to her. She is running for House District 104 right here in Gwinnett County for Decula and Buford and some parts of Lawrenceville. So she's going to come back and she wants us to know what she's about, what she's running for. She is a people's person. She's been doing this for a very long time, but I won't start yet. I'm going to go ahead in there and jump into our horoscopes. But listen, it's a beautiful day here in Gwinnett. Right now it's about 80 degrees, going up to a high about 88. So a pretty nice day. We had some rain yesterday, but it wasn't too bad. But we got a beautiful day coming today, so I'm excited about that. So listen, we're going to do our horoscopes today. You know, I like doing the horoscopes because I want you to know what's going on in the stars with you. Our horoscopes are brought to you by astrologer Michael Thiason. He's our resident horoscope, a zodiac and star man. Today is August the 1st. Can y'all believe it? It's August the 1st already. Listen, we got 4 months before this year is officially out. I'm not jumping the gun. I'm just being realistic here, y'all. We are 4 months into this thing. Yes, we are. But listen, let's get on in with the horoscopes right now. We're going to kick it off with Aries. Aries, deception and confusion regarding your status in society is likely. Voice your opinions and contribute to the debate. Romance could be exciting if you are spontaneous. That means you cannot be doing the same old stuff, Aries. You got to be spontaneous today if you want to have romance in your life. You got to be spontaneous. Think about that for a second. Taurus, you might find that coworkers will support your endeavors. You should consider submitting some of your written work for publication. Don't make excuses. Don't make excuses, Taurus. And listen, I personally believe, and I was just telling Andrea, we're in the studio right now. I was just telling Andrea, I think she should write a book. I think everybody should write one book in their life. I don't care if it's but 12 pages. I think everybody. So, Taurus, your work should be in publication. I think you should go ahead and get out there and stop sitting on it. That's what they're trying to tell you. That's what the stars are saying. Stop sitting on your work. Gemini, secret enemies may be eager to spread rumors about you. Watch out for the enemies, Gemini. Authority figures may be less than accommodating if you have done something deceitful. Okay. Get busy on the home improvement projects that you've been procrastinating about. Listen, stop procrastinating, Gemini. Go ahead and get the work done. Go ahead, stop it. And watch out for the deceitful folks. Watch out for them. Cancer, don't overspend on luxury items. Dazzle them with intellectual conversation. Listen, you ain't got to spend a lot of money. Just be very intellectual with them, all right? Try not to attempt to do something unless you are fully intent on following through with the plans. If you don't plan on finishing it, don't start it. You hear me, Cancer? Don't do it if you don't plan on finishing it. Leo, you have two choices. Get out on your own or bend to your mate's whims. Home improvement projects will run smoothly. Your hypnotic eyes will capture the hearts of those who interest you. So bat a little bit today. Bat the eyes a little bit, Leo. Just a little bit, because they are hypnotic today. Virgo, you should be trying to clear up legal contracts that have been pending. Children might be on your mind. Don't hesitate to make special plans just for two. Don't believe everything you hear. Listen, there's an old saying, don't believe anything you hear and half of what you see. All right, listen, I'm going to go to a song and I'll be back to bring you the next 6 horoscopes brought to you by astrologer Michael Thiason right here on the Good Morning Gwinnett show.
I know that we were meant to be, that baby you were meant for me. Without you it's like I can't breathe, yeah. Girl, you know you made me sing, and you know you made me feel. Don't run away, please don't leave me. Hey, you know I love you so much, you know I can't let go, you know I can't get enough. You know I want more of your touch. You know I adore you so much. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. you. I wanna do the things you do. We'll find a way to make it through, girl. Can't seem to find the words to say. Baby, I want you to stay. I'm thinking of you every day, yeah. Hey, you know I love you so much. You know I can't let go. You know I can't get enough. You know I want more of your touch. You know I adore you so much. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Hey, go ahead and call me fool, but baby girl, I'm lost in you. I know that we are meant to be together. Without you, girl, I can't go on. You are comparable to none. You are comparable to none. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. Baby, I can't help myself. Listen, baby, what I say. You know that there is no one else. All I want is that you stay. 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 All I want is that you stay.
Hey, welcome back to Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. Listen, we're going to pick it up with the rest of the horoscopes. Listen, I love the horoscopes, right? You know, Andrea was telling me, she's like, the horoscopes are not real. I was like, I know, but I like the horoscopes. I know, some people don't like them. They don't believe them. I do. I mean, here's the thing. I like them. I think they're very entertaining. She told me to say that. She told me to say it's very entertaining. So they're very entertaining. All right, we're going to pick it up with Libra. Libra, don't rely on others to handle your workload. Put your efforts into physical fitness programs or competitive sports. Try not to judge too quickly. Listen, don't be so judgmental today, Libra. Could be you in that on the other side of that. You know what I'm saying? Scorpio, be sure not to reveal private information to the wrong individuals. I always say this. If you want to keep your business private, keep it to yourself. That way it doesn't get out. You can get ahead if you're willing to take a partner. If you can't get ahead in the company you're with, perhaps it's time to move on. Sometimes change is good, Scorpio. Sometimes you got to make that move. Sagittarius, problems with your partners or a parent. Don't let others bully you into agreeing with them. Sit back. Don't let anybody bully you today, Sag. Tell them to fall. You sit back and you tell them to fall back. That's what you do. Capricorn, if you're uncertain of your feelings, keep your opinions to yourself. Put your efforts into being creative. Social get-togethers will bring you in contact with intelligent friends. It's nothing like having some intelligent friends. So go out and do some little social gatherings today, Cap. Aquarius, communication will be your best bet. Don't be too open or put your faith in unreliable coworkers. Arguments may flare up in your home. Listen. Don't put your faith in nobody but God. Let me just say that whoever you believe in, people are going to disappoint you. If you know that much, you'll be okay. All right, my fellow fish Pisces, get busy trying to make more money. I'm always trying to make more money. Y'all know I'm always trying to make more money. That's what I'm doing every day. Okay, fish friends, you know what I'm saying? Your mate may want to pick a fight, but if you're persistent with your affections, their anger should dissipate. Opportunities to get ahead are evident. Now listen. If my mate want to pick a fight today is not the day. I ain't know about that being affectionate. I'll be ready to fight somebody. That's not true. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. So listen, that's your horoscopes for today, brought to you by astrologer Michael Thyssen. I'll bring you more horoscopes on Monday when I return. But right now, we have a guest in the house, y'all. We have a guest in the house. Miss Andrea Stephenson is our guest today. She's sitting at the table. You know, this is the part of the show that I call a seat at the table, where I have a person in studio live, sitting to the table, talking about what's going on with them. Now, she is a politician. Andrea and I met probably about 3 years ago, and I actually worked on one of her campaigns, and I was a part of a Democratic organization here for women. So, you know, I'm trying I want to serve the community as best I can. So I do it with this show. I also do it by, helping out where I can, where I'm needed. So anyway, Andrea has been in politics for a long time, and I'm not going to tell you her story. I'm going to let you tell her story. She is a phenomenal woman, a beautiful spirit. I went to her house quite a few times, spent some long evenings at her house doing some things, and I think that's why I decided I didn't want to go into politics after I spent some time there. I was like, I don't want to do this. If I have to fight about a comma and a sentence, I'm not the person. But people tell me all the time I should do it. I don't know if I have the temperament to do it, but she does. She has a caring heart, a caring spirit. She's been doing this a long time. She was raised up in politics. I wasn't. My mom did march with Dr. Martin Luther King, though. She marched with him. And she went to jail, and she had to eat greasy grits in Camilla, Georgia. She told me that story. She stayed in jail for 2 weeks because she marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. That makes me proud to know she's a fighter, even though I know my mom is a fighter anyway. That's the other side. That's why I got the little mean streak. My dad was a fighter and my mother was a fighter, so I got a little mean streak. That's why I don't know if I'll make a good politician. You got to have an even temperament like Andrea. Listen, so I'm going to stop running my mouth, and I'm going to bring Miss Andrea Stephenson on. She is running for House District 104, and so she's going to tell you a little bit more about who she is and how she got to be a politician in the great state of Georgia, because she's originally from the great state of New York, y'all, up north on the bricks. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Audrey, for having me.
So listen, tell my people, let's go back a little bit before we get into the politics, because we're going to live there for a minute once we get there, because I know you have a lot of things that you want to talk about and a lot of things you're passionate about. So let's go back. Who is Andrea? Where did Andrea hail from?
Andrea grew up in New York, the daughter of parents who marched and sang with Martin Luther King. I, too, was there on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial when the I Had a Dream speech was read.
Wow.
And you know what I remember from that? Standing there crying and crying and crying because it was so beautiful and it was so real and it was so right.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was about 12 or 13.
12 or 13 years old. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went with school on a bus. We had a choice, and I took that choice, and I've never regretted it. And that's one of the reasons I love Gwinnett so much, because of the diversity. Mm-hmm. So having grown up in New York, and I have 2 master's degrees, one from Columbia University, School of Public Health. Mm-hmm. I've worked in public health my whole life, and I've also dabbled in politics. Mm-hmm. I've lived in several states, and I've been very happy here in Gwinnett, and I've lived here for over 12 years.
Wow, nice. I love Gwinnett, too. I was born in Georgia. I was born in Albany. Shout out to my family in Albany, Georgia. But I was raised in New Jersey, and when I moved here, we just kind of dropped into Gwinnett by happenstance, and when I got here, I didn't want to go anywhere else. My husband wanted to move to Cobb County. I was like, I'm not going, because he works in Cobb County. I feel bad because he has a very long commute every day, but I love Gwinnett, so I'm not planning on going anywhere. So now... So you say you graduated with a master's from Columbia. That's pretty prestigious.
Thank you very much.
And so I know that you're an educator. Tell us about your, because I know you're passionate about education. Tell us about your stint as an educator.
Well, I have taught at FAMU for 7 years in public health and community health. I'm a biology teacher in the state of Georgia, although I don't use that degree very often, and I also sub-teach every now and then. Nice. In Gwinnett. I'm very familiar with the education here. I've tutored Title I students, those that speak English and those that barely speak English. Mm-hmm. And we need more of that. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm glad you said that, because we have, right now with everything that's going on with immigration and all those things, and you've been able to teach these kids, and teach kids who can't really speak English. What do you feel? So now we're about to jump into politics, y'all, because I said we were coming, and I'm passionate about this stuff. Andrea and I, we watch MSNBC. I think she watches way more than I do, because you go to her house, her mom is watching it. Her mom is a sweetheart, and she's sitting in front of the TV. She's a diehard MSNBC fan, and I remember going there. She's like, "Hey, darling," and she's so sweet, y'all. You got to see her. She had on her little pink and white outfit the last time I saw her. She came to see me. I was sick, and they came to my house to visit me, but she's a beautiful woman. But immigration, and let's talk about immigration for a second. I had a candidate on a couple of weeks ago. And she told me, she's like, I'm straight up pro for the wall. And I said to her, but when you see what's happening at the border, how could you be for something that's going to totally divide us? Now, that interview got lost because we had a technical, and it was a very long interview. It was 1 hour and 20 minutes, and we lost it. it hurt me to my heart. She's coming back in September or October to talk to us again. And she was a Republican, and so she said to me she was for the wall. You know, she felt like people come here and they take over our jobs, and you know they take from us. And I said to her, honestly, there are jobs here in the United States that most people won't do. So when you say those type of things, and I know you've been, you know, you talk to people who are of different nationalities, what's your feelings about where they are right now with everything that's going on with immigration?
I can tell you this. I can tell you that I think that we can do a better job with the money that they're going to put into the wall. However, at the state level, for the job that I'm trying to run for, that would have nothing to do with it. We do have here in Gwinnett County a sheriff who is working to implement 287, and it has become a problem for some of the residents in Gwinnett County. For example, a lady that is one of my volunteers is stopped continuously, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, because she does not look like a typical white resident of Gwinnett County. It's very embarrassing. It's very upsetting. It ruins her day. Her brother, who also does not look like I do, has been brought to jail, although he's been released, because these young people have been raised and born in America.
Right.
I think that if they're going to go after people, they need to go after people who are criminals.
Right.
And they need to leave regular people alone who are not doing anything to harm anybody.
You know, I talked about 287. The commissioners actually did an event, I think it was last night, if I'm not mistaken, where they wanted to talk about the pros and cons of 287G. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. So 287G, for those of you who don't know what it is a program that our sheriff here has said, you know what, we're going to renew this program again this year. And what it does is give the sheriff's department the opportunity, the right to actually just, I don't want to say profile, but kind of, like profiling, to check immigrants. You know, if you look like an immigrant, you have the opportunity to say, hey, we need to see your paperwork. And that's making a lot of people who are different nationalities feel really, really unsafe and uneasy and uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? So they actually did that session last night at Langley over at the Justice Building. Commissioner Marlene Foscue was the one who headed that up last night. So I don't know the outcome of that. I didn't see anything printed about it today, but I will find out what happened. What was the outcome from that event last night? And I'll bring it to you on Monday if it's out there for me to bring to you. So, you know, Andrea, it breaks my heart. I know we have criminals, right? We have criminals that are right here, born here, look like you, look like me, right here. And I feel like if we put more into what you said, the criminals, get rid of the bad people, put them somewhere, leave the good people here. And I think they missed that. And I understand that, you know, our president, he said he was going to build a wall, and that's how he won the election, with the wall. And for me, it's not so much about people coming into the country that are really bad, because drugs are coming. It's not coming over the border. I don't think I've heard anybody yet say, hey, we found like 2 pounds of cocaine at the border. No, they flew it over. They flew it over in a plane. You know what I'm saying? So they didn't pick it up at the border. They flew over in a plane, or it came over in some avocados. That's the kind of crazy stuff they're doing right now. They're getting it in here, and it's not at the border. It's all these other places. So now I know that you're running for House District 101. Tell our listeners 104. I'm sorry, House District 104. Tell our listeners where does House District 104 what area does that cover? And what are your plans to unseat the person that's in that seat right now? I know he has been there for quite some time, 3 terms. And you ran against him last year, and you lost by approximately 1,700 votes. That's not a lot. That's very doable. So now what's your plan this year? How do you plan to make this happen this year in 2020?
First of all, I'm asking all Democrats and all independents to come out and vote down the ballot. That means voting for every person and every resolution that's on there. If you leave it blank, then you haven't voted. Mm-hmm. Then you're not putting your democratic rights to fruition. The other thing is we are Decula, Lawrenceville, Bethlehem, Auburn, Buford, and Houston. Now, that's a gerrymandered district, if ever I saw one. And there are many, many different demographics in my district, and many people have different priorities. So for that reason, I'll be holding meet and greets in various locations to listen to what the citizens in 104 are concerned about and what they want to happen in the future. This is about change, and this is about bringing human values, democratic values, back to Gwinnett.
Now, for those who are listening who don't know what gerrymandering means, can you explain to them what that means and how that affects them as a voter?
The legislature in Georgia every 10 years gets to change where districts are located and who is in those districts. So they can literally draw lines through the middle of Decula or the middle of Lawrenceville, and they can be squiggly lines or whatever, and put more Republicans in one district so that the Republicans are definitely going to win that district and less Democrats. By that, they start, just breaking things up, and it seems to me that that's quite illegal.
So now, how do we combat that? Because I've heard gerrymandering like over the last couple of years, since the last big election, which is the 2016 election. I heard voters' rights being suppressed. I've heard gerrymandering. What are we doing? I know Stacey Abrams is doing a lot right now. What are we doing here in Gwinnett to make sure that everyone who is entitled to vote have the opportunity to cast their vote, whether it be Republican or Democrat, but they have the right to cast that vote? What are we doing here?
In 2018, Gwinnett went blue. And what was important is we elected many people to the House and a few to the Senate who are Democrats, who are going to stop this kind of gerrymandering and do something that's fair and honest. In 2020, it'll be 10 years, and the next legislature will determine how the lines are going to be drawn. We need 16 Democrats in all of the state to win in the House. I hope to be one of those 16 Democrats that will stop drawing lines that have preference for Republicans and Republicans only.
So now, what can the citizens do? I know that when I went to go vote, I forgot what I was voting for. This was recently. This was early this year. There was a young woman. She was pregnant, and she was pregnant, and she was upset because I vote at Cornerstone Church right there on Grayson Highway in Lawrenceville. She came there to vote. They told her to come there to vote. They told her when she got there, your name is not here. She had to go back to Winder to vote. So she said she had been to 3 places trying to vote. What is that? And how do we combat that? Because she was pregnant. She wanted to give up. And I had to say to her, baby, listen, I know it's frustrating. And she was a young lady. I said, I know it's frustrating. This is what they want you to do. They want you not to vote. So that's why they're giving you all these problems. And she was like, I just left this place. I'm pregnant. I'm tired. I said, but you know what? You got to fight for this. It's one of those things you have to fight for. You were given the privilege to vote. You need to vote. So she said, okay. And I don't know her. We were standing in line. I saw that she was stressed out and frustrated because she had been trying to vote all morning. And now it was about 6:30 in the evening, or 6 o'clock in the evening, and she still had not voted because they were sending her all around the world. Now, with all of the crap that goes on when it comes to our voting polls and things like that, what can we do as citizens to make sure that stuff stops? I know you're out there fighting the good fight for the right to vote and right for all transportation and all these things. What can we do as a citizen to say, you know what? We're not going to stand for this crap anymore. We're going to stand up and stand for it. We're going to stand up against it. What can we do?
I think you should attend. I think everybody should attend the county election board meetings, and there are people there that can absolutely help you and help you find out where you're going to vote and where you're supposed to vote. So your name may have changed, and that may prevent you from voting unless you've changed your name properly. And you can go to the Secretary of State's website, and you can put in your Social Security number and all kinds of information, and they will tell you if you are still registered to vote, because some people were pulled off the polls. We need every one of us to respect our vote and to do something to make it happen. And I know that people have been turning out more and more to vote, but there are some young people, the millennials, they say they're not voting as much.
What can we do to make those young people say, you know what, I understand why they're fighting. What do we need to tell them to get them on board with what we're doing? I know that the presidential election, we have a lot of folks in this 2020 election coming down the pike. But right now we're talking about Gwinnett. We need the young people in Gwinnett to get out there and cast their vote. What can we say to them? What can we say to entice them to understand the importance of voting?
Okay, well, what are young people interested in? They're interested in getting their education. Mm-hmm. They're interested in finishing their education and going on to live productive lives with decent wages. But they're stuck with these long debts to their colleges.
Yes.
I think that we should have internships galore. We should ask every business to help these children finish paying their debts. I think we should try to get any kind of money that we can to help them pay their debts. That, I think, would help.
I think that would help too. My daughter is, she has a college debt right now, and it shows up, and it's huge. It's probably about $60,000 in college debt, and so and now she's a new mother. So when you think about trying to make a living, pay off college debt, and raise a family, that's a lot for anybody. And I think that's probably one of the reasons they're turned off. I'm like, you know what? It's not helping me. So moving forward, what are some? I know you said you think businesses should help out. And honestly, I talked to, I forgot her name, but she's over at Gateway 85. And she said to me, one of the ways they raise funds that all the business owners kind of chip into this pot of money. And that makes sure that they have beautiful sidewalks and beautiful awnings and beautiful downtown areas. I think that's great. So it comes out of some kind of budget. If we did something like that, very similar for student loans, that would be great. And I thought about it, even for businesses, like small businesses. If you have let's use this for a prime example. There are 960,000 residents right here in the county of Gwinnett. 960,000. It's probably more now in the county of Gwinnett. Can you imagine if there was a way for them to add 2 cents to their, cell phone bill that goes into a pot that's going to either fund the business or pay off student loan debt? 2 cents. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you multiply that times 960,000 people, right? And that's every month, we can get some things done. And I please forgive me if you're listening to this show, but I forgot her name. It's Gateway 85. When she was telling me this, I thought to myself, man, we should be able to do something very similar to that for small business. There are people out there who want to start a small business and they can't, because they don't have the funding. They don't have the capital. They may have the training, but they still need the capital. You got student loan debt that's killing people. Like some people are committing suicide because they just don't see a way out because of student loan debt. It's ridiculous. And, I know that one of the things that, now we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this in the next segment because I'm going to go to a song. But we're going to come back and we're going to talk about healthcare for all and education for all. Those are 2 hot topics right now. I heard Bernie Sanders talking about it the other day. He strongly believes in that. But I heard someone who was talking against him. I think it was in the debate in the debate recently, and he gave a very strong argument as to why healthcare for all would not work. And we're going to come back in the next segment and talk about that. So I'm going to go to a song, and I'm going to come back and continue my talk with Andrea, and we're going to talk about, is healthcare for all good for all, or is it not good for all? And we'll talk about that on the other side. Listen, stay tuned, y'all. Y'all listen to Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney. I'm here today at the table with Andrea Stephenson. She's running for House District 104 right here in Gwinnett County. I'll be back right after this song.
Got some dollars in my pocket and I really wanna spend them on you. Not the wealthiest, but all I make it all to spend it on you. Now be a date for the night, be my plate, make tonight come through and trip. Take it slow, although I'm ready for more. All my cards are on the table and I'm putting all my money on you. So kiss me, don't you stop, you're gonna miss me. And I'm already doing this. Don't even let it cross your mind. And do this with me, we
Welcome back to Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm your host, Audrey Bell Kearney, giving you a seat at the table with political candidate, Miss Andrea Stephenson. She's here. She's running for House District 104. Listen, if you missed any episode of the show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com and listen to them all there. This show is being recorded, even though we're live right now. So if you missed any part of this show because you got to get back to work, be sure to go and check it out at goodmorninggwinnett.com and listen live. Listen, also, you can always download the Good Morning Gwinnett apps on your mobile phone and never miss an episode. Ain't that great? So listen, I told you right before the song, we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about healthcare. We're gonna switch gears just a little bit and talk about healthcare because I know that's one of the things that Andrea is passionate about. But I gotta tell her, I was listening to a debate with Bernie Sanders, and I forgot the gentleman he was debating against. And Bernie's healthcare for all. His thing is everybody should have healthcare. And so the gentleman's argument was. Unions have been fighting for health care forever, and that is the one thing that is really important to a lot of people who may lose their job. And so they're saying that it's unfair for those people to be cast into a pot of health care for all when the health care, the plan that's laid out is not a great health care plan. Now, Bernie's argument was it is a good plan. I wrote the plan. What's your thoughts on that, Andrea?
I believe that that health care is a right. And that, the people that you go to work with, that your children go to school with, that you sit on the bus with or the train with, all these people, are people that need health care. If you have private insurance, that's wonderful. Continue it. If you have union insurance, that's wonderful. If you want Obamacare, that's just fine. I think that we have to find another alternative for people who do not have health care. They may be working 2 or 3 jobs, but at least they're keeping a roof over the head and feeding their children. But if they don't have health care, how are they going to maintain a job or continue going to school? I mean, if you break a leg, what are you going to do if you don't have health care? You're going to crowd into the emergency rooms of our hospitals, which are overcrowded already. And who winds up paying for that health care? The hospital, because the hospital has to cannot get paid back.
Right.
So we have, it's just a right, and we have to fulfill that right. Whether or not we do it the Bernie Sanders way or we do it the Joe Biden way, I don't care. We just have to make it available for all, especially in Georgia. Have you driven lately down in southwest Georgia?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, I occasionally go down to Tallahassee to see old friends, and which they call South Georgia. And it's just very, very sad because hospitals are gone and clinics are gone and pharmacies are gone and people just sit on porches and there's no industry there and people are very sad. They don't have health. Many of them don't have health care at all. How are you going to function in this society without health care? I don't know, because we know so much today. I mean, we're curing cancers. We're treating all kinds of illnesses. People, children, maternal mortality in this state is the worst in the country, and this country is one of the worst in the developed world.
Wow.
Okay? So it's measured by per 100,000. So Georgia has a maternal mortality rate of 46.2 per 100,000. Now compare that to Canada or France, which is about 7 per 100,000.
Wow.
And in the country as a whole, it's about 25 or 26 per 100,000. These are 2015 figures. These aren't ancient figures. This is absolutely abominable, and it needs to stop.
I got to tell you, so I was a union worker. I used to work at a hospital under a union 1199 when I was in Jersey. Worked there for almost 9 years. And one of the things that, we were thankful for was to have great medical care. And so I kind of understand what the gentleman was saying. He was like, I don't think that we should take a good health care plan from someone who has earned that through a union and give everybody this other plan that may not be so good. Now, I do believe that we do need some kind of a great affordable health care plan. I do believe that. And I think that's where it's falling off at. And I think the problem is that no one has really, and I'm not going to say that because I'm sure they have stayed up plenty of nights trying to figure out what's a good affordable health care plan. I think that's the issue. Does everybody need health care? Absolutely. Does everybody need the same type of health care? I wouldn't say take somebody's health care plan for them to give them something the same across the board that's not better than what they have already. I wouldn't say that. And I was a union worker for a very long time at a hospital, which is crazy. And like you said, when I was there, the hospital that I worked at went bankrupt. It went bankrupt and shut completely down after they built a brand new MRI center and a brand new parking deck. About 6 months later, the hospital was completely shut down. And then I saw other hospitals close around the world. But those people that were working there were union workers with great healthcare plans. They were able to move on to other jobs. But we're talking about people right now, like people who do not have good jobs that have great healthcare plans. Those are the people that need healthcare. And so I think that although what I understand what Bernie is trying to do, and a lot of other politicians who say everybody needs healthcare, I agree. But I don't think you should strip health care from people who have a great plan to put them on a plan that everybody's going to be a part of. Now, I did hear him say stuff like, and he said, Canada has health care for everybody, but if you ask a lot of the Canadians, the plan sucks. So they come into the United States for services. Now, to me, that's putting a strain on our health care system. If Canada has health care for everybody, but it's just not working, and now they got to come over to the United States to get health care, that's putting a strain on our health care system. So I think when you say health care for everybody, I agree, but I think that, like you said before, there needs to be a good plan in place that will afford people affordable health care for those who do not have it. Okay, so, all right, so listen, I know you have some events coming up. Tell us about your events coming up. I know you got a lot of things planned. I know, your goal is to win the election this time, to represent House District 104 in the best way possible. And so you are really trying to connect to the community. That's why you're here today. I'm helping you connect to the community in a very different way for you. I know that. But how can they connect to you in person? Because I know you're going to be on location talking to people about what you're going to be doing for the district.
Well, first, I'd like to invite everybody to visit AndreaForGeorgia.com, learn a little bit more about me, volunteer, donate, or just read about what we're trying to do. On August 19th, which is a Monday from 7 to 9 p.m., we're inviting anybody who would like to come talk with us at Gyro City. There's a meal involved. It'll be $20 for adults, the minimum, and $15 for students. Children are half price. It's going to be, a buffet. It's a beautiful meal with, fresh balaka and everything else.
Balaka. What is that?
It's a Greek dessert.
Okay. I didn't know what it was. I know what a gyro is. And so here's the thing. We say gyro, right? But I got a friend who's from New York, one of my best friends. She says gyro. She said gyro. She said, yeah. We're saying, I was like, yeah, I want a gyro. She says gyro. I was like, oh, okay, give me gyro.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there'll be several kinds of gyros. And we're going to be very pleased to announce that Brian Whiteside, the Solicitor General of Gwinnett County, will be there to introduce me and to tell us what's going on in the solicitor's office. Mm-hmm. He is a new Democrat that's just been elected last year, and I'm very proud of what he's doing because he's doing fantastic things. I really would like to talk with our citizens, find out what's going on, find out what they need to be done in the legislature in Georgia so that we can really make things happen, so that we can bring in more jobs. Who would have ever thought, by the way, that we would be surpassing Hollywood in movie production?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? We can do the same thing with green jobs.
Yeah.
We can do the same thing with electric vehicles. Mm-hmm. We have so many talents here in Gwinnett County. We can absolutely get everybody to work. Everybody can get health care, and we can spread all this throughout the state so that everybody is equal and everybody gets to live the American dream.
Gwinnett is doing a lot. I can tell you that, that's why I do this show. One of the things I'm really excited about is Curiosity Labs over in Peachtree Corners. They have partnered with Sprint to do some great things over there. So they got the autonomous driving car. They have and that's an electric car, which is great. So they got a lot of things coming out of Peachtree Corners, which is also right here in Gwinnett County. Now, when you say green jobs, what are the opportunities out there for green jobs? I know Amazon is bringing thousands of jobs. They're not green. There are other companies companies that's bringing hundreds and thousands of jobs. They're not greens. What are green jobs, and what can we? So so this show is in 120 countries, right? People are listening to us. They may have some green technology that can come into the states and help us and help our citizens and help the state of Georgia. What are some of the green opportunities that you would like to see come into the state? Green jobs.
I'd like us to become the number one seller of solar panels and manufacturer of solar panels in the world. Let's surpass China, and let's start in Georgia.
Okay.
Wind, turbines. We can give money to all these wonderful universities so that they can get patents on new energy producing things. Everything has energy. All cells have energy.
Right.
Okay. Let's do something that's different.
Okay.
Let's make change happen here in Gwinnett County. Let's do it in 104, and let's do it right, the green way.
The green way. All right, listen. Andrea Stephenson. Andrea, we'll give them the website again. Listen, you want to make a donation to our campaign, you can. How can they make a donation to the campaign, Andrea?
AndreaForGeorgia.com. You've got 3 different ways to do it.
All right, go there, AndreaForGeorgia.com. Listen, this has been a seat at the table on the Good Morning Gwinnett show. My guest here, Miss Andrea Stephenson. She's powered up. She's ready to fight, y'all. She want to win this thing. 1,700 votes. That was hardly any. She almost did it. But 2020, she's coming for you. You know who I'm talking to out there. She's coming. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to get them all scared or anything. But listen, she has a new plan. She feels like there's a new plan for her district, and she wants to roll that plan out. Thank you again for being my guest today. I really appreciate your time. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you spent the last 45 minutes here chatting with me, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ms. Bell-Kearney.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Listen, guys, if you want to be a guest on my show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com. You want to come and take a seat at the table with me on Thursday, because this is where I am. Pretty soon we're going to be live streaming. I got to tell you more about that later, because it's going to be on television. I'm excited about that. But listen, if you want to be a guest on the show, go to goodmorninggwinnett.com and click on the tab that say Be My Guest and put your information there. I am a bipartisan show. So I want to talk to all who want to talk to me, all who want to share that message around the world. Right now, we're on Alexa, we're on Amazon Fire TV, we're on Google, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeart, and TuneIn, and so many more. Spotify. You can listen to us almost anywhere. And guess what? If you never want to miss an episode, go to your phone. Click on the App Store and download the Good Morning Gwinnett app. You can do that right directly to your phone and listen to us there. I'll be back again on Monday, God willing. God willing, I'll be back. Listen, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And until next time, y'all, make it a great day. Bye now.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in daily at 9 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you missed an episode, go to www.goodmorninggwinnett.com to catch up. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the show now and share it with your friends.